Hello everyone, this is Paushta Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. Today we continue working with the long dress. I remind you that we are making it on the basis of the pattern for the garments with the drop shoulders. In order to adjust this pattern for a particular design, I need to cut it first. This is what I'm doing now. If you don't want to change the design, you can make a dress on the basis of this pattern. You do not necessarily have to make the dresses exactly like mine. When you learn how to work with the patterns, your sewing possibilities will be unlimited. I want you to learn to use your imagination. You can't even imagine how many different clothes you can sew. Long gone are the days when we were going to some special occasions in simple tops and jeans. Let's be different and beautiful together. I hope that everything is clear so far. I've traced the front and the back, moved the dart, made these details longer. My dress is going to be 145 centimeters long. You can make the dresses as long as you want. Long, short, midi. You do not necessarily have to make such long dresses. If you're planning to wear this dress with the high heels, you can make it even longer. The length of my dress from the shoulder top to the bottom is 145 centimeters. I haven't changed anything yet. The first thing I need to do is to move the chest dart. The technique is similar to the one used for making the raglan sleeves. This is where the dart is placed now. It's just more convenient for me for it to be here now. I've moved the chest dart. Next, I need to decide where I want these seams to end. I want these points to be placed a bit under the hips. Here they are. This is where these points are in the sketch. Next, I need to draw this seam. It's straight right under the front neckline and round down from this point. I'll start drawing the seam from the front neckline. I'll place it here. I remind you that there will be a fold on the center front. I'll sign it. Next, I need to draw a seam up from this point. The line should be round, smooth, and beautiful. I've reached the bust top level. Here it is. This is how the seam looks like now. In my case, the distance between the seam and the bust top is about 7 or 8 centimeters. Up from this point, the seam should go this way. The most important thing is that the seam should be beautiful. You can draw it however you like. I like it the way it is now. I'll alter it just a bit here. I want it to be a bit more round. Next, I need to move the waist tuck. I remind you that there will be a fold here on the center front, so this detail will be wider. I'll move this line a bit. In my case, this distance will be 2.5 centimeters wide. Have a look at the sketch once again. Let me draw the center front on it. This is why I've drawn this line here. It goes to the side seam, a bit under the hip level. There is still a waist tag here. It should be moved to the seam. Always move the waist tags to such round seams. They make the garments fit you perfectly. I want to outline the seam. This is how the seam is going to look like. There will be no tag here. I moved it to this seam. Watch what I'm doing. I'm cutting the seam. In one of the next videos, I'll show you how to tack these angles. The side detail is ready. Here it is in the sketch. There will be no darts in it. Next, I need to cut the waist tag. This opening should be closed. It wouldn't be convenient to work with it being here. Ladies, I know that the design of the dress is pretty complicated. I want us to look good. This is why I'm showing you so many different ways to be different and beautiful. I closed the original tag opening with the sticky tape. This is where the waist tag is now. I remind you that there will also be the princess seams on the front. The chest darts will be moved to them. Where should the princess seam be drawn? The width of the pattern here is 32 centimeters. So I'll draw the seam 12 centimeters away from the center front. You can draw it wherever you want. I remind you that there will be a fold on the center front, so the distance between the princess seams will be 24 centimeters. (12 centimeters). Have a close look at the sketch. The princess seam starts a bit above the bust level. This is where this point is in the pattern. Those who have slim waists can make the additional tucks in the princess seams. Make a tiny tuck here, for example. I'm not going to do it. I can start cutting the seam now. You can make the detail at the center front a bit tighter at the bottom. In my case, it's going to be straight. As I've already said, you can change the design however you want. The only thing left for me to do in the front detail is to move the chest dart. I remind you that there will be a fold on the center front in my dress. I don't recommend making seams on the center front in this case. They wouldn't look good here. If there were no angles here, it would have been possible to make a seam on the center front. This is where the chest dart opening is now. I want to move it here. It will be bias. I remind you that I'm moving the chest dart to the princess seam. Be very careful and attentive. Have a look here once again. This is where the original chest dart was moved. I need to move it once again. This is where it is placed now. I know that the design and the technique seem complicated, but if you work the way I show you, you won't have any problems. This is the front detail. This is the lower side detail. This is the upper side detail. This is where the part of the chest dart opening is now. The front is ready. Let's move on to working with the back. This seam should also be round and beautiful. It goes up to the back neckline. This is how the side detail in the back is going to look like. I want to make this dart a bit longer so that it reaches the seam. I'm making it just a couple of millimeters longer. Next, I need to outline the seam. I remind you that the waist tuck should be moved to it. There will be no waist tuck here. This is the original shoulder dart. I want to close it and move it here. I like the fact that this design is pretty complicated. I'm tired of the boring, simple designs. This is why I show you more and more complicated techniques. I'm working really hard to help you be different and beautiful. You can draw the seams however you want. You are the ones who are in charge of cutting and drawing. This is the back, the center back detail, the side back detail, the center front, the upper and the lower side details of the front. This detail will be stitched this way. That's all for today. Next time we'll continue working with this dress. Be different and beautiful. My name is Paukšte Irina. Subscribe to my channel, write comments, share videos, press the like and the bell buttons. I would really appreciate your support. Thank you. Goodbye.